Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into a book that's had a huge impact on how people think about the mind, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, by Joseph Murphy.
Oh, that's a great choice. It's really amazing how relevant that book still is. I mean, it was written decades ago, but it's still so helpful.
It really is. When I first picked it up, I thought it might be kind of like mystical and vague,
Yeah.
but Murphy actually lays out these really practical techniques,
Mhm.
for tapping into the power of your subconscious mind.
That's what makes it so cool. It's not just like airy-fairy. He gives you things you can actually try.
Exactly. He actually gives you a way to, work with your subconscious.
Mm,
Like that whole idea that our thoughts, our beliefs actually shape our experiences.
right.
It's almost like we're always programming our reality, even if we don't know we're doing it.
It's like we're on autopilot, but we can learn to take control.
Exactly. That's the crux of it, right?
Yeah, he basically says that the subconscious can't tell what's real and what you're just imagining. So if you're always thinking negatively, like doubting yourself, your subconscious is going to take that and run with it. And that can actually affect what happens to you.
Wow. So if you keep thinking you're going to fail, you're more likely to actually fail.
In a way, yeah, because your subconscious is creating that reality for you.
That's kind of scary.
It can be, yeah. But the good news is, if you can learn to control your thoughts, you can control your reality.
So does he give any examples in the book of how this works in real life?
Oh, tons of them. One that's pretty amazing is the story about Enrico Caruso, the opera singer.
Oh, wow. Caruso, the legendary Caruso.
Yeah, the one and only. He had this incredible voice, but he was crippled by stage fright.
Really? You'd think someone so talented wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, you'd think, right. But before every performance, his throat would tighten up.
Oh, gosh.
And he'd get convinced he was going to bomb. It got so bad, he almost quit singing altogether.
I can't even imagine. So how did he get over it? Did he do special vocal exercises or something?
It was actually more about his mind.
Oh,
He realized that his fear, like his conscious fear, was messing with his subconscious. He was basically sabotaging himself without even realizing it.
so he was telling himself, I'm going to mess up. And his subconscious is like, okay, if you say so.
Yeah, pretty much. But then he figured out a way to change that. He started focusing on positive thoughts and affirmations like, I'm going to nail this performance.
Okay, so he shifted his inner dialogue.
Exactly. And that shifted his reality. He went on to have an incredible career, all because he learned to control his thoughts.
Wow. That's really inspiring. I can see how this could apply to way more than just stage fright.
Oh, absolutely. It's relevant to anything you want to achieve in life. Health, relationships, money, creativity, even breaking bad habits. It all starts with your thoughts.
Now, this reminds me of something else Murphy talks about, the power of suggestion. He says the subconscious is really open to suggestions, both positive and negative.
Yeah, that's a big one. It can be kind of scary, actually.
I know, right? Because if we're not careful, we might be programming ourselves with these limiting beliefs without even realizing it.
It's like we're walking around with blinders on, accepting things as true without questioning them.
Yeah.
It's like the story Murphy tells about a man who ended up getting his arm amputated.
Hold on, seriously. Why? What happened?
It's pretty wild, actually. A fortune teller told this guy when he was young that he would lose his arm by a certain age. And you know what? He actually did.
Wait, are you saying this guy lost his arm just because some fortune teller said he would?
It wasn't that simple, of course, but it seems like he totally internalized that suggestion. He believed it so deeply that it kind of became a self-fulfilling prophecy. He had a bunch of accidents, and eventually he lost his arm.
Oh my gosh, that's just awful.
It is, but it also shows how powerful our beliefs can be. If we believe something strongly enough, it can actually manifest in our lives, even if it's negative.
I'm starting to see why it's so important to be aware of what we're thinking and believing.
Absolutely. It's like taking inventory of your mental landscape. What kind of thoughts are you letting take root? Are they helping you, or are they holding you back?
So we've talked about the negative side of suggestion, but how can we use it for good, like to make positive changes?
That's where things get exciting. Murphy gives a bunch of techniques. One of the most popular ones is called the passing over technique.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that one.
Have you tried it?
I haven't, but I've read about it. I think it's where you, visualize what you want really clearly, and then you kind of hand it over to your subconscious just before you go to sleep.
That's the gist of it, yeah.
So the idea is that by doing that over and over, you plant that desire in your subconscious mind, And it can work on it while you're sleeping.
Exactly, like planting a seed and letting it grow.
So it's not a one-time thing. It's about consistently feeding your subconscious the right kind of input.
That's the key. Consistency is everything when it comes to working with your subconscious mind.
I can see that.
And, he also talks a lot about faith.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he really emphasizes that, right? Like, you have to believe that these techniques will work.
It's not about blind faith, though. It's more about understanding that the subconscious mind is incredibly powerful and trusting that it can bring about the changes you desire.
It's like having faith in the process.
Exactly. It's like understanding the rules of the game and then using them strategically to win.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about when we're faced with something really tough, like a physical health problem? Can the subconscious really help with that?
Murphy believes it can. He calls the subconscious this inner physician, capable of healing the body. He even shares a story about how he healed a skin cancer using his understanding of the subconscious mind.
Wow. So he believes that the mind can actually influence the body's ability to heal.
Absolutely. And it's not just his personal experience. He talks about cases like Dr. James Estale, a surgeon in India.
Oh, I think I've heard of him. Didn't he perform surgeries without using anesthesia?
That's the one.
Wait, how is that even possible?
Well, this was way before anesthesia was common, but he was incredibly successful. He believed he could, bypass the patient's fears and access this healing power within their subconscious. He used the power of suggestion.
Surgery with just suggestion. That's incredible. It really challenges what we think we know about, like the mind and body.
It does. And it opens up a whole world of possibilities for healing.
It's almost like there's this untapped potential within us that we haven't even begun to explore.
Exactly. And Murphy gives specific techniques to tap into that potential.
So it's not just wishful thinking. It's about using specific methods to activate the subconscious mind's healing power.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've got the passing over technique. But what are some of the other tools he talks about? I'm ready to unleash my inner healer.
Well, one that's really interesting is the mental movie method.
Ooh, that sounds fun. What is that?
It's basically like creating a movie in your mind, but you're the director, the actors, and the audience all at once. You visualize yourself achieving the outcome you want, whether it's healing, success, or something else.
Okay, so you're creating this detailed visualization with like a full plot and everything.
The more detail, the better. You want to engage all your senses, sight, sound, even touch and smell.
So it's not just about seeing it, it's about feeling it too, like really experiencing it as if it's happening right now.
Exactly. Because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So those feelings you experience in your mental movie, it takes them seriously, and that's what starts to shape your reality.
Wow. So it's like tricking your subconscious into believing that what you want is already happening.
In a way, yeah, it's about aligning your emotions and your beliefs with your desired outcome, because that's what directs your subconscious mind.
This is all starting to make sense now. It's like we've been given this incredible power within us, but we've never been told how to use it.
It's like having a supercomputer, but we've been using it as a paperweight.
And Murphy is giving us the user manual, saying, here's how to unlock its full potential.
Exactly. It's an invitation to become conscious creators of our own lives.
I love that. So we've talked about how to use this for healing and overcoming challenges, but what about success? Can this really help us achieve our goals?
Absolutely. Murphy believes our subconscious beliefs about ourselves and the world are a huge factor in how successful we are.
Okay. He tells a story about a young boy who really, really wanted to be a doctor.
Oh, yeah, I know that story. He didn't have the money for medical school or anything, right?
Right, but he never gave up on his dream. He would spend hours visualizing himself as a doctor, wearing his white coat, treating patients. He even imagined the feeling of holding his diploma in his hands.
And get this, somehow he made it happen. All because of that unwavering belief and relentless visualization.
It's almost like he attracted those opportunities to him.
Exactly. That's the power of what Murphy calls wealth consciousness.
Hold on, wealth consciousness. What's that? Is it just about believing you'll be rich?
It's bigger than that. It's more about having this deep belief in abundance, like the universe is full of good things and you're worthy of receiving them, and that can attract prosperity into your life.
So it's not just about money. It's about an overall feeling of abundance in all areas of your life.
Exactly. It's like shifting from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance.
I see. It's like instead of thinking, I don't have enough, you start thinking there's more than enough for everyone, including me.
Exactly. And that shift in thinking can have a ripple effect on all areas of your life because your subconscious is always working to create the reality that matches your beliefs.
There's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like this belief in the subconscious can affect everything, even our sleep.
Oh, absolutely. Murphy talks about how sleep can actually be a time to access your subconscious mind.
It's kind of like that story he tells about the professor who couldn't figure out this complicated fossil.
Oh, yeah. He was totally stumped.
He tried everything he could think of, but he couldn't crack it. And then, bam, he had a dream, and the solution just came to him.
Amazing, right? It's like our subconscious mind keeps working on those problems even when our conscious mind is taking a break.
I wonder if I could use that to solve my own problems.
Give it a try. There's nothing to lose.
I'm definitely intrigued.
It's worth exploring. And Robert Louis Stevenson, the famous writer, he was a big believer in this too.
Robert Louis Stevenson. Oh, the guy who wrote Treasure Island.
That's him. He used to tell his subconscious to come up with stories while he slept.
Oh, wow. And did it work?
He said it did. He'd wake up with all these amazing ideas for his novels.
It's like having a built-in creative partner. It's really amazing to think about all this potential we have inside us. We can use it to heal, to achieve success, to overcome fears, and to tap into our creativity. It's all about understanding and working with the power of our subconscious mind.
It's an incredible gift. And Murphy's work is all about helping us unwrap that gift and use it to create the lives we truly desire.
Exactly.
So far we've been talking about how the subconscious can help us as individuals. But Murphy also goes into how it impacts our relationships with other people.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's not all just about self-improvement, right? Relationships are such a big part of life.
Exactly. He says that what we believe deep down about ourselves and love, it really shapes the kind of relationships we end up having.
So you're saying if someone has a lot of insecurities about love or like limiting beliefs, they're going to attract people who kind of mirror those beliefs back to them.
Yeah, it's almost like we're sending out these signals, these vibrations that attract people who match our own energy.
That makes sense. It explains why some people keep having the same problems in their relationships over and over.
Yeah, like even if they consciously want something different.
Right. It's like they keep dating the same type of person or falling into the same patterns.
Exactly. It's like their subconscious is running the show. And until they deal with those underlying beliefs, those patterns are likely to keep repeating.
So how can we use this knowledge of the subconscious to actually create better relationships? Do we just start visualizing the perfect partner or what?
Visualizing can help, yeah. But Murphy says the real work is looking inward first. It's about understanding the beliefs we have about ourselves and about love. Are they coming from a place of fear or lack or maybe past hurt? Or are they rooted in self-love, like feeling worthy and knowing that there's plenty of love to go around?
Okay, so it's about getting your own inner world in order first.
Exactly. It's about understanding what you're bringing to the table, both consciously and subconsciously.
Now, what about relationships that are already happening? It's one thing to attract a partner, but how do you navigate all the challenges that come up in a relationship?
Well, he really stresses that we're responsible for how we react to other people. He says other people don't have the power to make us mad or upset.
Really? Come on. What about when someone's doing something that's totally annoying?
Even then, he says it's our own thoughts and interpretations that create those feelings.
So it's like, even if someone's acting like a jerk, it's still my choice how I respond to them.
Exactly. You can choose to get angry and resentful, or you can choose to respond differently. Maybe with understanding, maybe even compassion, or, sometimes just letting it go.
That's a lot harder than it sounds, though, especially in the heat of the moment.
It takes practice, for sure. But Murphy gives a bunch of techniques for creating that space inside yourself so you can make a more conscious choice about how you want to respond.
Okay, I like that. It puts you back in control instead of feeling like you're always reacting to what other people are doing.
Exactly. It's about taking back your power and deciding how you want to experience the relationship.
This is making me wonder, do you think our subconscious mind can also affect how we interact with others in, more subtle ways, even if we don't realize it?
Absolutely. It's like our inner thoughts and feelings are constantly sending out these vibes,
Yeah.
Murphy talks about this energetic field that we all have and how other people can pick up on it.
Wow. So it's like if I'm holding a grudge against someone, even if I'm trying to be nice to their face, they might still sense that negative energy.
Exactly. And that can create tension or distance in the relationship. On the flip side, if you're feeling love and appreciation, those vibes get sent out too, and that can make the relationship stronger.
It's almost like we're broadcasting our inner state all the time, whether we know it or not.
And those broadcasts are affecting the quality of our connections with other people.
This reminds me of another thing Murphy talks about. He's always emphasizing how important it is to be mindful of how we talk to ourselves about our relationships.
That's so true. Are you focusing on your partner's flaws, or are you appreciating the good things about them? Those thoughts really matter.
Yeah, if you're always telling yourself that your relationship is doomed, maybe your subconscious mind is going to make that happen somehow.
It's possible. He really stresses that we need to be intentional about choosing thoughts and beliefs that support the kind of relationship we want to have.
It's about focusing on the positive, right?
Right. Cultivating gratitude, looking for the good stuff, choosing to see the best in your partner.
I see. It all comes back to that idea of being a conscious creator. We have more control over our reality than we think, even when it comes to something as complex as love.
Exactly. By understanding the power of the subconscious, we can create more fulfilling, more harmonious relationships with ourselves and with other people.
You know, I'm really starting to see how this could apply to all sorts of areas in life. Now, another thing Murphy dives into is habits, like how we form them and how we can break them. He has a whole chapter on that.
Oh, that's a great chapter. It's so important because, our habits, the good ones and the bad ones, they really shape our lives.
He explains it like this. When we do something over and over again, it creates a pathway in our subconscious mind.
Right. And the more we repeat that action, the more ingrained that pathway becomes. So it's easier to keep doing it almost automatically.
It's like carving a groove in a record. The needle just keeps falling into the same groove over and over.
That's a great analogy. But what happens when those grooves are leading us down a path we don't want to be on anymore?
Yeah, how do you break free from those old patterns, especially when they're so deeply ingrained?
Well, Murphy says the first step is to really acknowledge the habit. You have to be honest with yourself, see the negative consequences it's having, and decide you really want to change.
So it's about taking responsibility for those patterns you've created, even if you didn't do it consciously.
Right. And once you've made that decision, you can start using your subconscious to create new, healthier habits.
Okay, but how? Is it all about willpower?
Willpower definitely plays a role, but Murphy says it's more effective to work with the subconscious. He suggests techniques like visualization and affirmations to really impress that new behavior on your subconscious mind.
So like if you want to stop procrastinating, you could visualize yourself being super productive, getting things done ahead of time, and feeling really good about it.
That's a perfect example. And he says the more feeling you can put into those visualizations and affirmations, the better. The subconscious mind really responds to emotions.
So it's not just about thinking it, it's about feeling it too, like really believing it.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that change takes time. It's like choosing to walk a new path in the woods.
Okay.
At first, it's going to feel unfamiliar, maybe a little uncomfortable.
Right, like you're bushwhacking your way through.
But with each step you take, that path gets clearer and more defined, and eventually it leads you to a whole new destination.
Wow. I love that analogy. So as you practice those new behaviors, they become more automatic, and those old habits start to fade away.
That's the power of neuroplasticity. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on your choices.
That's encouraging. There are definitely a few habits I'd like to say goodbye to.
Well, Murphy says you absolutely can. He even talks about one of the hardest habits to break, addiction.
Oh, wow. That's a really tough one. I'm curious to hear what he says about that.
He approaches it in a really different way. He doesn't see addiction as a sign of weakness or a lack of willpower.
Oh, most people see it that way,
Yeah, but Murphy says it's often rooted in a deep sense of insecurity, like trying to escape from uncomfortable feelings.
So he doesn't think addicts are bad people or anything like that?
Not at all. He sees them as people who haven't found the tools to deal with their emotions in a healthy way.
That's a much more compassionate way to look at it.
And he believes that by addressing those underlying needs and giving people the knowledge and techniques to change their thinking, they can break free from addiction.
It's about empowering people to create a better life for themselves.
Exactly. And he stresses that it's important to do it with a lot of self-compassion, understanding, and believing that they can change.
So it's not just about, telling someone to stop. It's about helping them heal the the underlying issues.
Exactly. And he provides specific techniques for doing that, using the power of the subconscious mind to reprogram those negative patterns.
It's amazing how he combines compassion with practical tools for transformation.
That's really the essence of his work. It's about empowering people to take control of their lives and create the reality they desire.
Right, and it's not just about getting rid of bad habits. He talks about building good ones too, right? Ones that help us reach our goals and be happier.
Absolutely. And he suggests picking one habit at a time, focusing your energy on that one until it's really solid in your subconscious mind before you move on to the next one.
Okay, so it's about consistency, persistence, and really believing you can do it.
It's like building a muscle. At first, it's going to be hard, but each time you do it, that muscle gets stronger and eventually it becomes easier.
So you're basically training your subconscious mind, making those new habits automatic.
You got it. You're literally rewiring your brain for success.
This is making me think about something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Fear. It can be so paralyzing.
Oh, absolutely. And Murphy goes deep on the nature of fear and how our subconscious plays a big role in both creating it and keeping it going.
Okay, I'm all ears. I have a few fears I'd love to get rid of.
Well, he starts by pointing out that we're actually born with only two fears: the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises.
Makes sense. Those are pretty basic survival instincts.
Right. But all those other fears we have, like public speaking, failure, rejection, those are learned. They come from our experiences and what we've been told.
So all those fears that hold us back from going after our dreams, they're often just based on beliefs that we've picked up along the way.
Exactly. And sometimes those beliefs are totally false, but they can get stuck in our subconscious mind, creating this pattern of fear-based thinking, and that can really limit us.
Okay, so how do we break free from those fears?
Well, one thing Murphy suggests is facing the fear head-on. Do the thing that scares you.
Easier said than done, right?
It is, but the more you expose yourself to it, the less power it has over you.
It's kind of like jumping into a cold pool. At first, it's shocking, but the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Exactly. And as you keep facing your fears, you're sending a message to your subconscious mind that they're not actually that dangerous.
So it's like you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than your fear.
Exactly. And as you do that, you start to rewire your subconscious mind, replacing those fear responses with confidence and self-assurance.
It's like retraining your subconscious to see those situations differently,
Right.
without freaking out.
Exactly. And he also talks about the power of affirmations, replacing those fearful thoughts with positive statements.
So instead of feeding the fear, you're consciously choosing to focus on what you want to happen.
Right. And he says to do it with feeling, like you already have what you want. Visualization is really powerful too.
Yeah, I can see how imagining yourself successfully handling those scary situations would help a lot.
It's like creating a new mental blueprint.
So you're basically practicing how you want to respond even before the situation happens.
Exactly. You're creating new pathways in your subconscious mind based on courage, not fear.
This has given me a whole new way to look at fear. It's not something to be avoided, it's something to be understood and transformed.
That's the heart of Murphy's message. He says fear is a natural part of being human, but it doesn't have to control your life.
Right. And by understanding the power of the subconscious mind, we can learn to manage our fear, maybe even use it to our advantage.
Exactly. And when you do that, you unlock a level of freedom that allows you to live more fully and authentically.
Now, throughout the book, Murphy talks about how the subconscious mind is connected to something bigger than ourselves.
He calls it infinite intelligence, or sometimes universal mind, like we're all part of this vast web of consciousness.
That's like we're all connected somehow.
Exactly. And he says that by tapping into that universal source, we can access guidance, inspiration, even healing, things that go way beyond our conscious awareness.
You know, he even has a whole chapter about scientists using their subconscious minds.
Oh, yeah. He gives some amazing examples of how some of the greatest thinkers and inventors throughout history have used their intuition and subconscious insights to make these groundbreaking discoveries.
Like Nikola Tesla, the inventor.
Yeah. Tesla was incredible. He used to visualize his inventions in such detail, like before he even started building them.
Wow. So he'd basically create a mental blueprint in his mind first.
Exactly. He believed he was tapping into this higher source of knowledge that was guiding his work, like downloading ideas from the universe.
It's like having access to a cosmic library.
And then there's the story of Professor Agassiz. He was trying to figure out this complicated fossil, and he just couldn't make sense of it.
Until he had a dream, right?
That's it. The solution just came to him in a dream.
Wow. So even when we're sleeping, our subconscious mind is still working on stuff, maybe even coming up with solutions that our conscious mind couldn't figure out.
Exactly. And, Robert Louis Stevenson, he was a big believer in this too. Remember we were just talking about him?
Yeah. He was the one who used to instruct his subconscious mind to write stories for him while he slept.
That's right. And he said it actually worked. He'd wake up with all these amazing plots and characters ready to go.
It's like having this built-in creative partner that never gets tired.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of the subconscious mind. It's a powerful tool for healing, achieving success, overcoming fears, and unlocking our creativity. It's all right there inside of us.
It's like we've been given this incredible gift, but we just haven't known how to open it.
And Murphy's work is all about showing us how to unwrap that gift and use it to create a truly amazing life.
It's pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah.
He even talks about some of the biggest questions we face as humans, like the nature of life and death.
Oh, yeah. He even gets into whether there's something beyond this physical world, whether our consciousness continues after our bodies die.
Wow. Those are big topics.
He approaches them from a spiritual perspective, saying our true essence isn't limited to just our physical bodies.
I find that really fascinating.
He believes we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and that our consciousness continues on even after our physical bodies are gone.
Whether or not you agree with his conclusions, it's definitely something to think about.
It definitely adds another dimension to the idea of harnessing the power of our subconscious mind. Maybe it's connected to a source of wisdom that goes beyond our limited human understanding.
It's mind-blowing, really. One thing Murphy keeps coming back to is this idea of staying young in spirit. What's his take on that?
Oh, he's a big believer in that. He says our thoughts and beliefs about aging have a huge impact on our physical and mental health. He says age is not just a number, it's a state of mind.
So if you keep telling yourself you're getting old and your best years are behind you, your body and your mind are actually going to start to believe it.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Wow. But if you focus on feeling vibrant and healthy, you can stay young at heart, no matter how many years you've been alive.
Exactly. It's about choosing to embrace life at any age.
I love that. It's not about denying the aging process. It's about how you choose to experience it.
He stresses the importance of having purpose, staying engaged with life, and always learning and growing.
So it's about keeping that curiosity alive, that thirst for new experiences.
Exactly. And he believes those things help us stay connected to the flow of life and experience each day with enthusiasm.
That really resonates with me. It's like cultivating an inner aliveness that goes beyond the limitations of age.
He even gives techniques for staying young in spirit, like visualization and affirmations, and connecting to that universal source he calls infinite intelligence, or God.
It's about tapping into that unlimited source of vitality and creativity.
Exactly. Aligning ourselves with the source of life itself.
This reminds me of that quote by George Bernard Shaw. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And Murphy would totally agree. He wants us to approach life with that sense of playfulness, curiosity, and a willingness to try new things, no matter how old we are.
This idea of staying young at heart is so inspiring. It's about making the most of every moment and embracing the wisdom that comes with experience.
Exactly. Living a life filled with passion, purpose, and a deep connection to the source of life.
We've covered so much in this deep dive into Murphy's work. What stands out to you as the most important takeaway?
For me, it's the emphasis on practical application. He doesn't just talk about theories. He gives us concrete tools we can use in our everyday lives. Tools for improving our health, relationships, finances, everything.
Right. He encourages us to experiment and find what works best for us, to become the masters of our own minds.
And it's such an empowering message. We're not just victims of circumstance. We have way more power to shape our reality than we think.
It's a call to become conscious creators of our own lives.
And to remember that we're all connected to a source of wisdom and power that's far greater than ourselves.
A source that's always there to guide us and support us.
So let's go out there and start creating the lives we truly want.
Lives filled with joy, purpose, and abundance.
And let's keep exploring this amazing power of the subconscious mind.
Because the more we understand it, the more possibilities we unlock. Now, if this deep dive piqued your interest, I highly recommend checking out Murphy's book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It's full of incredible stories and practical techniques to help you harness the power of your own mind. Until next time, keep diving deep.
It's really amazing how practical this book is.
It really is.
Murphy doesn't just tell us about the power of the subconscious. He
No.
actually gives us ways to use it.
Like a toolbox for the mind.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, these principles and techniques, they can apply to pretty much any area of life you can think of.
Absolutely.
Whether it's your health,
Right.
your relationships, your finances, even just like your overall well-being.
He covers so much.
Yeah. He even talks about things like procrastination,
Mhm.
finding your purpose, being successful in your career.
He really gives you a blueprint for creating the kind of life
Right.
that you want. That's aligned with what you truly value.
Yeah, your deepest desires and values.
And one of the most powerful takeaways for me is this idea that we're all capable of so much more than we think.
Oh, absolutely.
He really believes in the potential of every human being. This incredible potential that's just waiting to be unlocked
It's all there.
inside of us.
And by understanding the power of the subconscious mind,
Right.
we can tap into that potential and achieve amazing things.
Things we never even thought possible.
It's so empowering.
It really is.
It reminds us that we're not limited by our past
Right.
or by our circumstances.
We have the power to create something new.
Yeah, a new reality.
A reality that reflects who we truly want to be.
That's such a powerful message.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the power of the subconscious mind, what's one thing you're going to take away from all this?
You know, what really resonates with me is
Yeah.
this reminder that we're not just victims of circumstance. We have so much more power to shape our reality
Right.
through our thoughts, our beliefs,
Yeah.
and the images we hold in our minds.
It's a call to be more intentional, to become conscious creators of our own lives.
Exactly.
And to remember that we're all connected to something much bigger than ourselves.
A source of wisdom and power.
That's always there to guide us and support us.
So let's go out there and create the lives we want.
Yeah. Lives full of joy, purpose, and abundance.
And let's keep exploring this fascinating world of the subconscious mind.
Because the more we learn, the more we realize just how much potential we truly have.
And who knows what amazing discoveries are still waiting for us.
If you're ready to start exploring the power of your own subconscious mind, I highly recommend checking out Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, for yourself.
It's an incredible resource.
It's full of stories, techniques, and insights that can help you tap into that incredible power within you.
So go out there
Keep diving deep.
and keep creating the life you desire.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.